treat people like humans. If the only thing you can say to somebody when they complain about a policy or they question a policy is, that's just company policy, that means that company policy is a load of shit and you're trying to take advantage of people. All right, let me tell you a business story. Now, I'm going to approach this as simply as I can, and this business story is going to involve a major company and show that even major companies are not immune to having bad business practices. Now, I just had a flight down to Iceland. This is a company called Icelandair. It's a major carrier, or at least a minor carrier, but it's a known entity. And I got to the airport to take my flight on Icelandair, which was reasonably priced. It was about $430 round trip to and from Newark. Now, what these carriers do, the budget carriers, it's not quite as budget as WOW, where everything, the water and everything is a la carte. It's a step above that. And I went in and I liked the way they approach things. For the upgrades, for if you want, they call it Saga class, which is their first class, they let you bid on it. So whoever's willing to pay the most gets the seats. And they offered me a slider. The slider allowed me to go from, the minimum was $210 up to whatever, infinity. $300, you're likely to get the thing. You're in the green. But if you bid $210, which is a starting thing, red, you're probably not going to get it. I look at it as a challenge. I was like, all right, I'll throw the $210 out there. I don't really care about sitting in the front, but I'll throw the $210. Sure enough, a couple of days before the flight, thumbs up. There you go. You got the upgrade. And I was like, all right, it's worth $210. I'll take it. At the time of check-in, they allow you to prepay your food. I don't know if it's cheaper or not, but at least you can buy your hamburgers in advance and whatnot, which I did. So I bought a hamburger. Then I paid for the Saga upgrade, which was the first class upgrade. That got me into the lounges and everything. I was excited. We were going to Iceland. And we went to Iceland, and it was fantastic. However, I didn't get there when I wanted to. That sucks. And here's why. I had my upgrade. I got 24 hours before. I checked in online. Yes, sir, I will check in online. I always do that. Check in the day before. Here, it didn't really matter because I already had my seat assigned because I paid for the upgrade. Otherwise, you try to check in as close to 24 hours in advance to select your seat, and you get the better placement on the seat further to the front of the plane. I did that. I checked in online. I did the mobile boarding pass because that's easy. And then you just click the link. Boom, boarding pass comes up. You walk right through the airport. When I went to pull up my mobile boarding pass, it says mobile check-in not allowed for this flight, even though I've already checked in for the flight. And I'm looking around. I'm like, where's the check-in for Icelandair? Because when you get to the airport, you got the big Delta, the United, and so I'm looking and I didn't see it. So I see the sign by the elevator. It says Icelandair level 2. So I look down that way, nothing down that way, start walking the other way. And start walking around, walk halfway down the terminal, see a cop. I'm like, hey, where's Icelandair? Level 3. I'm like, well, the sign says level 2. He's like, I don't know why they do that. It's been on level 3 for years. Sure enough, I go upstairs, start walking, walk one way, don't see it, start walking the other way, don't see it. So I go to somebody at the counter. I'm like, hey, guys working at the counter. There's these LCD screens above the counter. I didn't know what airline it was, but I'm like, hey, where's Icelandair? 2nd level. I'm like, I just came up here because the cop told me it was on the 3rd level. Go back down to the 2nd level, and they're like, well, it's down the elevator to the left. So I go down to the left, start looking around. I don't see Icelandair on any of the screens anywhere. So I talk to the guys. I'm like, hey, guys, you know where Icelandair is? Oh, they were just right next to us. Okay, where'd they go? Oh, they closed boarding an hour before the flight. I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll go to an automated kiosk and then check in. This is now 57 minutes before the flight. I drag all my bags back upstairs. I go to the mobile kiosk. Doesn't let me check in either. I call the number, and I'm like, hey, guys, I've checked in, but I can't print my mobile boarding pass. I can't click on the link. The link is dead now. It won't let me do it. And I tried doing it earlier in the day too, which is why I even looked for the kiosk to begin with. Otherwise, I would have just pushed the button and walked through with my thing. I should have screenshot it. If I screenshot it, I've got my boarding pass. I walk right on. I call them up. They're not willing to do anything. Oh, can't do anything. You got to take a different flight out of JFK tomorrow. 24 hours later. This isn't like we're going to bump you over 6 hours or you'll still get there. I'm like, guys, I don't know what the issue is. It's now 53 minutes before the flight, or 50, whatever it is. I've got plenty of time. I'm pre-check, I'm global entry. I'll walk right through the air thing and at least let me go through security. And if I don't make it, then I'll have to reschedule. But I've got more than enough time. There's nobody at this airport right now. And I mean, it's not a giant terminal. Sure enough, nope, sorry, can't do it. It says an hour before the flight. I'm like, I get that. I don't have any bags. And I told them I didn't have any bags because I figured I would drag the bags through. And then I would deal with it at the gate if I had to. I had a check bag. But they wouldn't let me do it. They made me reschedule for the following day, right? And then here's where it really gets to be the kick in the penis, is that then they say, you got to pay to change the flight, $200. I'm like, why am I going to pay $200 to change my flight? I can get on this flight. I know I can get on this flight. Wouldn't let me do it. I had to pay the $200 to change. I lost the hamburger. I lost the upgrade. Had to pay to change my flight. And the kicker is I left the airport. I had my guy turn around, come get me. I left the airport. I had dinner at White Mountain in Hackensack, which was excellent. Then I went home, and I was home before the flight even took off. The flight was even delayed another 42 minutes. So it's such a kick in the dick to go have dinner. Like, I would have had zero trouble making the flight, even if it was on time. But even if it's not on time, there's no reason that they shouldn't let me on that flight. If I'm at the airport, and this is something that you pay for. If you pay for, and I checked in the day before, if you pay for something, I get a boarding pass to get through security. If I don't make the flight, that's fine. If you close the boarding doors 10 minutes before you take off, that's fine. But to not even let me have my boarding pass so I can go through security and have a chance to make my flight is a load of hogwash. So that was a huge kick in the dick. And I didn't like the fact that it dehumanizes people. It's like, sorry, those are the rules. There's not even logic behind the rules. If you told me, like, look, if you're trying to check a bag, yeah, we know we say be here an hour before the flight, but if you're trying to check a bag 55 minutes before, we can't guarantee it's going to get there on your flight. We may have to put it on the next flight because there's logistics involved there. But to not let somebody walk through security when I've already checked in online and their shitty system doesn't let me, it deactivates my mobile boarding pass link. The whole point of a mobile boarding pass link is to hit the button and the boarding pass pops up. I do it with United all the time. I hit the boarding pass link 20 minutes before my flight and my ticket pops up. And for them not to do that when I did check in the day before the flight and not let me on over 3 minutes, I missed they literally, like a union, they check out of their kiosk. It's as frustrating as going to a store and like, hey, I really need to buy dog food. And they're like, sorry, just lock the door. Well, no, I know what I'm getting. I don't get it. Like I worked auto shows, and I'm trying to equate it to other stuff. If somebody walks in the Gotham Dream Cars as we're closing and they want a car, doors are open. There's no reason not to. It's stupid to turn away business. And here all they're doing is ruining a relationship because I'm never going to suggest anyone do it. And they charge me all this extra money. So it ended up costing me, I paid for an upgrade, $600, $700, $800, like $900 now to take a budget airline to Iceland. And normally I would have just booked another ticket on a different airline to get there. But if I didn't make my original flight, then I'm considered a no-show and they cancel my return flight. So I'd have to book a whole new itinerary. Talk about a kick in the nuts. So I had to make the call on the spot. They bullied me into skipping that flight and taking the one out of JFK the next day, which cost me $120 to take an Uber over there. So a whole bunch of annoyance, and there's no logic behind it. So here's the lesson. Here's how this is a business lesson. It's not just Rob ranting about missing a flight and how much Icelandair sucks with their policies. Their technology should allow you, once you check in and they give you a link to a boarding pass, you shouldn't have to know to screenshot it. You should be able to click that boarding pass at any time and it should pop up a boarding pass. Simple as that. The second thing is you should treat people like a human. If you have people working at a desk and the desk isn't even advertised anywhere, you have to walk up and down the terminal to find it. If you have that, you shouldn't be leaving the check-in window. If everyone's not there yet, you shouldn't be leaving that check-in window until maybe 20 minutes before the flight when there's no chance somebody can clear security and get to that gate. But other than that, I think it's a load of I've said hogwash, I've said horseshit, I've said kick in the dick. I think I've cursed enough during this video to let you know my frustrations and to tell you that Icelandair sucks. They handled this very poorly. And then I was reminded to make this video when they sent me the thing saying, hey, let us know, how do you enjoy your experience? Well, you know what? I'm going to attach a link to this video and send it to you guys because this is bullshit. Change your policies, and this goes to all carriers. Just treat, or carriers, companies, treat people like humans. If the only thing you can say to somebody when they complain about a policy or they question a policy is, That's just company policy. That means that company policy is a load of shit and you're trying to take advantage of people. And that shouldn't be the case. If there's a way that you can help somebody be human and help somebody, especially if there's no reason not to. There's no reason I live 40 minutes from Newark Airport. There's no reason I should be able to go to dinner and get home before my flight takes off when you say I'm not there with enough time to get on the flight. That's Rob, talking business, talking airlines, and hoping Icelandair goes the way of WOW. You know what that means. WOW is out of business. They're either going through bankruptcy or we're getting bullied right now by whoever's trying to take them over. Thank you for watching. Iceland was the country itself was phenomenal. Not cheap, but phenomenal.